supported Shalabhasana. So I'll take my blocks for this one. The blocks will support you right under the upper arm bones. We'll come to lay down onto the front body. I'm gonna lift my chest up and I'm gonna bring the blocks right under my upper arm bones. I have my palms face down, back behind me. And then from here, I'll release the forehead towards the ground. The chin can slightly start to move in towards the chest. So what this supported shape allows us to feel is an opening coming across the chest. And this opening is an opening that we want to maintain as we move through all the different parts of our practice. So when we are in our high plank, we want to make sure that we're in our high plank with a chest that feels nice and wide and open here, like how the blocks are helping you lift the upper arm bones away from the front body, helping you make space across the collarbone, space across the chest. And then there's this engagement, a gentle engagement of the muscles in your upper back that pull the upper arm bones towards the center of the back of your spine. So continue to let that chest open wide and find this subtle engagement through the back that helps you draw the upper arm bones away from the floor. And breathing here, breathing, visualizing the back of the heart moving forward towards the front of the heart. And then once you have the softening and opening coming to the shoulders, we're gonna focus on the rest of the torso. So tendency can be for the tailbone to hike up towards the upper body, which brings some length out of the lower spine. So we are bringing engagement and awareness into the hamstrings and glute muscles. You're engaging those hamstrings and glutes to lengthen the tailbone towards the heels. That'll help you get that space in that lower back. So visualize this lower back being a place of extension. So this upper back is pulling the upper arm bones away from the floor and stretching the upper spine ahead of the crown. And then you're using those glutes and hamstrings to lengthen the tailbone down towards the heels. And then once you have that tailbone lengthened, it's a gentle hugging of the abdomen to the spine to support that spine, especially that lower spine. So keep visualizing the spine extending in both directions. You're extending up to the crown of the head from the waist, and you're extending down towards the heels through the engagement of the glutes and the hamstrings, and you're letting that upper back rib gently extend the crown of the head forward. We'll be here for another minute here. And then yogi's choice, if you want to change it up a bit here, maybe you let the head go side to side, maybe you rest with the head on one side of the face. You can stay to center. Just continue to visualize the chest opening up. Those back muscles are strengthening here, and we're long through the spine. And take about 10 more rounds of breath here. Allowing the body to be heavy in between the support. Letting the body move from the back body to the front body. On the next round of breath, we'll slowly start to make our way out of this. We'll lift the shoulders off the blocks. We'll remove the blocks. We'll come down. You can rest one side of the face to the mat. Just a couple breaths here. Nice. We're coming into Sphinx pose now. So we'll place these elbows right under the armpits. We're going to bring the forearms parallel to each other as best you can. So it's very similar actions here. So noticing the elbows, we want those elbows to be right under the armpits. And then we're hugging these forearms in towards the hips to engage the upper back. Once again, finding that upper back grip, allowing the grip of the upper back forward to help you make more space across the chest. And then once again, coming back to those glutes and hamstrings, using the glutes and hamstrings, lengthening tailbone towards the heels, hugging that abdomen, supporting the spine, letting the breath be wide across the rib cage. And do just 5 more rounds of breath. And it's like if the arms pulling in towards the hips is helping you lift the spine forward and up, while the strength of the legs lengthens the lower spine back and down. Keep seeing the spine extend both directions here. Nice. Just one more deep inhale. One more exhale. Slowly start to make our way down. We'll press back to a child's pose, knees wide, toes touch, hips to heels. We're going to come into a supported Matsyasana now. So we'll take our 2 blocks, we'll place the blocks next to each other. We'll aim to have our shoulder blades supported by the blocks. So I'll notice where the bottom of my shoulder blades are, and I want to make contact with the bottom of my shoulder blades to the bottom of the blocks. So once I have this contact here, I'll take a moment, I'll pause, I'll make sure I'm on the lower shoulder blade, pause, and then you let the torso roll from bottom to top, and the arms reach up overhead. They can be wide to the side, they can be straight up, option is yours. And then with the legs, you can keep the knees bent if this is good on your lower back, but if it's available, you can extend the legs one by one. And if you extend the legs, point the toes straight up towards the ceiling. And then very similar actions. We're still using those glutes and hamstrings to lengthen tailbone towards the heels. And then we're visualizing the extension coming from the lower back. From the lower back, you're extending to the inner edges of the feet. And from the lower back, you're using those upper back muscles to stretch the upper spine away from the waist here. And we'll be here about 2 minutes. Option with the arms, you can bend the elbows, hold on to opposite elbows, allow the grip of the elbows to guide the elbows further overhead. Using the strength of the chest and the back muscles to keep extending the arms further, breathing into the shoulders, letting these inner biceps spin behind us, outer triceps wrapping down. More rounds of breath here. Nice. All right, and then we'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here, but we're going to do some movement with the arms. So we'll let the arms come out to the side, maybe like a backstroke here. You can do small circles with the arms. You can start doing big circles, just noticing all the muscles that help the upper arm bone move in the shoulder socket here. You can go side to side with the head inside the neck. You can lean onto one shoulder blade and then the other. Just take a couple moments here, just finding some free-flowing movement, asking the intuition which way it would like to move. Just moving in that direction here for about 5 rounds of breath. Maybe take a little side bend. Just about 3 more rounds of breath. Lengthening the spine, lengthening the spine. One more deep inhale. One more exhale. Nice, and then we'll slowly make our way out of this. Rolling over to the side. And then we're gonna set up for a supported puppy pose. So we'll take our blocks. Once again, we'll come to hands and knees. The blocks will be up to the tall setting. We'll aim the triceps onto the blocks. Knees will be wide, hips to heels. And sometimes it takes a bit to adjust to get the right length, but you want to be able to have the shoulders opening, and you also want to still have length in your spine. So you might have to move forward, move further back, aiming the triceps onto the blocks. Knees wide, toes touch. As the hips release to the heels, the chest releases in between the shoulders. Gaze towards the belly, and continue to visualize the bicep muscles spinning up as those tricep muscles spin down. And just notice what that action does across the chest, releasing the back of the heart towards the front of the heart, and just directing breath into the shoulders, into the upper back, into the neck. And continue to visualize those elbows lengthening away from the hips. We'll be here for about just another minute. And continue to visualize the back of the heart move forward towards the front of the heart as you get longer in between the waist and the elbows. And just actively moving the breath to the shoulders, to the back, to the neck. Do about 5 more rounds of breath here. And see if you can find a little bit more space. Maybe the elbows go further forward, hips go further back and down. Releasing that chest towards those inner thighs back towards those heels. And on the end of your next exhale, we'll slowly start to make our way out of this. And then we'll come back to lay down onto our bellies. We'll reach the right arm out in line with the right shoulder. Setting up for a prone shoulder opener, we'll bend this left knee. We're gonna roll onto the right side body. The left foot will find the floor on the outside of your right leg. These left fingertips can come to the ground, and we're visualizing yourself using the floor to traction that right upper arm bone away from the right side chest. So we're using that floor to let that right upper arm bone move towards the center of the back of your spine, letting that chest area open up, seeing that space right where the shoulder is, where the chest and the shoulder muscle meet. Visualize yourself breathing wide across that space and opening that space up. And what's also going to help you make that space open up is engaging that right side upper back and letting it grip forward towards the right side of the chest. Once that upper back grips forward, you'll have more space across that front upper body by the collarbone. Nice. We'll do about 5 more rounds of breath here. Keep spreading those fingers across the floor. Keep pressing the hands down to the ground. Nice. And then option here, you can stay here like this. Maybe you can do some head movement inside the neck. If there's anywhere you'd like to pause, you can pause. You can do small head circles, big head circles. You can go in one direction, another direction. Just noticing that shoulder. Maybe you bring chin in towards the chest. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. And then we'll slowly start to make our way out of this. Beautiful. And then we're going to come right back into it. Same arm. We're going to roll onto that right side body. See if you can get a little bit further into that right shoulder. Just 3 more breaths here. Grip into that right side upper back, open across the chest. You can press down with those left fingertips. And then we'll come out of it. Beautiful. You can bring one side of the face to the ground. And take a couple breaths here. And then second side, you'll reach the left arm out to the left. Left arm will be in line with the left shoulder. We'll bend this right knee. We're going to roll onto the left side body. The right foot will land to the outside of the right leg. And then we're finding the shoulder opener. Once again, visualizing the ground, tractioning the left upper arm bone away from the left side of that chest. Visualize that space where the chest and the shoulder muscle meet, just opening up. Breathing lots of breath into that place. And then once the space is coming to the left side shoulder and chest, we're going to find that grip in the left side upper back. You're going to let the left side upper back grip forward to help you open further across the chest. About 10 more rounds of breath here. And then option, once again, if you want to do some head circles inside the neck, maybe you bring the chin in towards the chest, just holding, pausing, breathing, letting your own intuition take over here. If you want to stay in one spot, stay in one spot. And just exploring the space inside here. Okay, so let's do about 3 more rounds of breath, slow, long inhales. One more deep inhale. One more exhale. Beautiful. Then we'll slowly start to make our way out of this. Take a moment, and then we're going to come right back into it. Just 3 more breaths. We're going to open up a little bit further. Bend this right knee. Roll onto this left side body. Open the chest up. 3 breaths. Go a little bit further. Open the chest up a little bit further. And just 2 more breaths. Slow, long inhale. And slow, long exhale. And 1 more deep inhale. And 1 more breath out. And then we'll slowly come back to center. We're going to roll onto the front body. You can release one side of the face to the ground. Let's take a couple breaths here. Alright, just 3 more things for the shoulder now. So we're going to bring the chin to center. We'll bend the elbows. We're going to interlace the fingers behind us. So with the fingers interlaced, we're going to use the upper back muscles to squeeze the upper arm bones away from the ground. And then we're going to extend the knuckles so that the shoulders move away from the ears here. Once you get the shoulders lifting, you can release the forehead towards the ground. And just let the knuckles lift up and back behind you to the corner of the wall behind you. The upper corner. And a couple more rounds of breath. One more deep inhale. 1 more exhale. Nice. You release opposite side of the face down to the ground. Just take a moment. If the fingers interlace behind the back is a bit much, you can always try and have a belt nearby. You can grab a belt in between the hands if the grip of the fingers is tough. We're going to do it similar 1 more time. We'll interlace the fingers or hold on to opposite elbows behind you. We'll inhale, extend the arms behind you, lift the elbows off the ground. And this time we'll let the knuckles reach up overhead as release forehead towards the ground. So continue to show the knuckles towards the ceiling, but let the upper arm bones move away from the ears. 3 more rounds of breath. One more deep inhale. 1 more exhale. And then we'll slowly come down, release one side of the face down to the ground. And just 2 more things for the neck. So this time we'll keep the right side of our face to the ground. And once again, we'll interlace the fingers behind us. We'll inhale, use the strength of the back to lift the upper arm bones away from the ground, open up that chest area, and lift the knuckles up and back as we release one side of the face to the ground here.
3 more rounds of breath. Keep lengthening through the crown of the head, upper arm bones away from the ears. Stretch the shoulders, stretch the spine, stretch the neck. One more deep inhale. And then we'll exhale, release arms. We'll switch to the opposite side of the face, comes to the ground. Let that whole side of the face press down to the floor. You'll interlace the fingers behind you. You can bring opposite pinky to the bottom. And then we'll inhale, lift the knuckles up and back, and lift the upper arm bones away from the floor here. And 5 breaths, keeping the length through the tailbone, opening the shoulders, opening the neck. 2 more rounds of breath. Upper arm bones lift away from the floor, elbows can bend, extend through the knuckles. Then we'll exhale, coming down. Resting. You can bring chin to center. And then we'll press back to a child's pose, knees wide, toes touch hips to heels. Allowing the arms to extend forward, just noticing the shoulders, noticing the breath, coming back to that intention. One more deep inhale. One more exhale, nice. And then we'll make our way into a tabletop position. Shoulders are over the wrists, hips are over the knees.